It's lights out, everybody, and welcome back to the Low Downforce podcast, the for-friend Formula One podcast. Didn't have to wait long to hear our silky voices again. That's right, we are headed to the second round of a triple header. We are just coming off of the Japanese Grand Prix, and already we are heading a good chunk of the world away to Bahrain for the Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. You have all four of us. You have myself, Ben. You have Matt. You have Josh. And you have J9. And we are, as soon as we got over the last race, which was very easy to get over because Japan, I think, disappointed in a lot of ways. It was not exciting. We now head to, in some ways, everybody's most familiar track because this is where preseason testing happened. At least for this year's cars, everybody has had the most running at this track. So we got to quick get into it. I hinted at the end of last episode, but we are running the same tires, the C1, the C2, and the C3 that we did in Japan. But again, every track is different in Formula One. So just because Japan was boring does not mean that Bahrain is going to be boring as well. And hey, rejoice for you American listeners, you American watchers. This is the first not middle of the night race that we're going to have this season. So get excited about that. I will give you the track times at the end of the episode. But no better way to kick off the Bahrain Grand Prix than Matt's track facts. Wish we had a theme song.
Let's go. I wish we had a theme song too.
And Matt, you have to sing the theme song.
I will come up with one. I promise you that.
Is it bad that I every time I hear track facts, I hear Dora the Explorer?
I was gonna say backpack from Dora.
Yeah, track facts. That's gonna be the theme song until you come up with one.
We will see if we can buy. We will see if we can buy the rights to that. But in the meantime, Matt, take it away.
Awesome. So, just quick note before I even get into it. This is a very simple track from a sky view. A bird's eye view. It's one that you might recognize, but this is the Bahrain International Circuit. The Bahrain Grand Prix launched in 2004 as a first ever F1 race in the Middle East. It's actually built on a former camel farm in the Sakir Desert. So that is something that's pretty cool. And the 5.412 kilometer Bahrain International Circuit is all about big braking zones, long straights, and very technical corners. Drivers will complete 57 laps here for a total race of 308.2 kilometers. If you don't know, go ahead and learn your kilometers because it's very hard to find any of these metrics in miles. But there are
I'm not learning kilometers.
The fuck is a kilometer? But there are three DRS zones, so we are getting a little bit more of a fast-paced race as opposed to Japan. So there are, like I said, 3 on the main straight turn between turns 3 and 4, and again on the back straight into turn 11. So there are overtake possibilities. They're not just possible, but expected. So hopefully that is a big change from our last week. A big standout is turn 10. This is a nasty downhill off-camber left-hand turn that's notorious for lockups. And the combo of heat, tire wear, and strategy is going to make this an unpredictable race, in my opinion. It's been run under the lights in the night since 2014. So not the whole time that this race has been held, but this is a night race for us to try and help with some of that tire deg.
I was saying, you talked about tire deg. I mentioned that we're using the same tires. Bahrain is known for being a very rough track, whereas Japan, the track just got resurfaced. So don't worry. These tires are going to shred, hopefully, and we'll get some interesting strategy on race day.
Absolutely. And Lewis Hamilton holds the most wins here with 5. Ferrari leads constructors with 7 wins at this track. And actually, this is one of the tracks with a long-standing fastest lap. We have Pedro de la Rosa, 1 minute 31.447 from 2005. Some of our listeners may not even have been born by that time. And I just to round it out, from desert winds to DRS dives, Bahrain is going to bring chaos early in the season. I forgot to look up the chance of a safety car. So I am so sorry, listeners, but I believe it was around 60% a chance of safety car or VSC. But don't hold me to it. I believe it. Yeah, it's between 55 and 65%.
And hey, the dogs are ready for the safety car. They're ready for the race. We're all pumped up. Before we look to this race, though, J9 coming through with the track flashback. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I just remember last year, this was, our first race last year to start out the season. And it was a boring one. It was just like the Japanese
don't say that. Stop.
2025 Grand Prix. It was so boring. But it was boring not because of the track, but because it was that 2024 season start with Verstappen just boom out front and no one could stop him. It was an exciting race to see all the other positions, but definitely not the first one. And so that's why I'm excited for this year's one, because Verstappen, although he is still very, very strong, we have a lot more strong drivers, especially as they continue through the 2024 season. So this one should be very good. But last year we did have Red Bull dominating qualifying as well as the top 10 in race results. Red Bull got a 1-2 with Ferrari behind him, with Sainz getting third and Leclerc getting fourth, which was a pretty big shock there, being the first race of the season and having Sainz, the second driver, beating Leclerc in the race. So that was a little bit of a remarkable thing happening there. We saw Mercedes and McLaren back to back getting 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, I remember McLaren, Mercedes at the beginning of last season were kind of neck and neck. They were trading off different spots. Ferrari and Red Bull obviously further towards the front. And we actually had Aston Martin's leading the middle of the pack there, getting 9 and 10, still getting some points. We certainly probably won't see that this race, but I won't do a bad prediction. Okay. So I won't be that mean to Aston Martin.
You said you just roasted them. If you didn't listen to the Japanese Grand Prix review, J9 did have Aston Martin as her flop.
I'm trying to be more positive this season, Ben. More positivity. Unless you fuck up, and then I'm going to call it out. But they haven't fucked up in this one yet, so we'll be there. I'm very interested to see how specific teams do here. Especially with a lot of drivers switching teams, a lot of rookies this season, and seeing that it was pre-season racing that they were able to come to this track and practice. So it'll be a very good one, and I hope that we have a lot more competition towards the front of the pack.
Speaking of competition, we have got to up our Predictors Championship predictions. Josh, how is it looking after 3 races?
Yeah, we recapped at the end of last episode, but I'm in the lead because I've been just doing great things,
Well, you got 0 points, so just saying.
Yeah, I did last week.
I haven't been rooting for your
J9 and Matt are tied with 6 points. I have 8. Ben, last place with 2 as the reigning Predictors champion.
Didn't I score 5?
I have 2 more points than Alpine. That's all I'm saying.
Didn't I score 5 in my first week? And
you and Ben have both not scored in the last 2 races. And you scored 6 in your first. Ben scored 2 in the first.
A little teaser. I'm going bold. I got to shake something up. So it probably is going to bite me in the butt. So I'm not expecting to get points again this weekend, but we'll certainly try something new.
I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with pole position predictions. I'm a Lando Norris hater. I think we all know McLaren have the best car. Oscar Piastri, pole position.
Bold. I'm going actually Verstappen. I think he is coming off such a great win, and he's just had such success here. He's going pole for me.
I have to agree. I don't like to, but that's just what it is, and he's fast.
I have gone Lando Norris. I think that, I'm going to stand by it, but it's also, I think that if he wants to be the champion this year, if he does get knocked down a peg, he has to bounce right back. And so what better way to do that with pole? But spoiler alert, going into our race day predictions with our podium starting at 3rd, I have him nowhere on the podium. In fact, I have gone so crazy because they did so well in preseason testing at this track. In third place, I have gone for Alex Albon with a Williams podium. He has been balling out this year. Williams is off to their best point scoring after 3 races since 2016. It is the first time they have scored in 3 consecutive races since 2017. And Alex Albon is finding his groove. Like we talked about, they know how to set up this track. Carlos Sainz at the fastest time for Williams of any driver in preseason testing. So I think they're going to dial it in.
You are going for
That is
some
bold.
high risk, high reward picks right here. You mentioned Lando Norris not in your top 3. I put him in third because I'm just a hater, but I think he's the best car all season. So I just got to stick him in third.
You know what's crazy? I also did not have Lando in my top 3. I actually went Hamilton. I think that they've made some good upgrades to the car, and I'm excited to see how that'll turn out.
I do, in fact, have Lando in my top 3, but I have him as P3.
Wow. So of the 4 of us, one bad race for McLaren, and the best the 4 of us have him is P3.
Through 3 races, there has only been one prediction of him not being P1 the entire season. And here, none of us have him in the top 2. So, for the record, I predicted Piastri winning in China. I gotta take some credit there. That was the one non-Norris pick.
Before we talk winners, who do you have P2?
I've gone Max Verstappen here. I think he's just driving that tractor as fast as it can go. And I think the battle, between second and third, between Norris and Verstappen, will be very exciting.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. To be honest, I have Max at P2. He is driving a tractor, though. It is like driving a John Deere around just without the grain.
If you would like that, Matt, so.
I would love that.
I actually have Piastri. Getting it mixed up. Oof. I have Piastri at 2. I do think that they're going to have Piastri kind of go with his speed. And again, Lando's not my top 3. Maybe he gets into a collision, but that's predicting.
Hey, I don't know. You might be hinting into my train of thought. We'll certainly get into the hot takes in a second. I don't have Max Verstappen on my podium either. I have George Russell in P2. He has been on the podium twice so far this season. I think he will do it for a 3rd time in Bahrain. And then for my winner, probably a little less hot, I've gone for Oscar Piastri. I think he's hitting a hot bat right now. So he's looked speedy.
Still have to have his papaya at the top.
I got to.
I have Oscar Piastri at the top as well, and I'm sure Matt does as well. Yeah, but I'm just guessing. Yeah, I do. You have all the same picks as me so far.
Oh, well, honestly, I changed my poll to Max at the last minute, so no, we don't have all the same picks. But I do think Max will qualify better than Oscar, but I just felt so much anger out of Oscar from this last race, especially being bottled up behind Lando. I mean, the dude is just going to fight his way to the front.
Wow. Well, I'm going Verstappen. I don't know what y'all are thinking. I think he has way too much speed.
No.
And I think Piastri's good. I just don't know. I don't think he has it in him to be number 1.
See, I think the opposite. I think Max and Lando are very opposite. I think Oscar and Lando are also very opposite. I think Max could throw everything that he throws at Lando at Oscar, and Oscar doesn't even blink. He just is so level-headed. He'll just drive through it. But
I guess we'll see.
We will have to find out, but there's a couple more predictions we have to make. P10, the final point position, I have gone Isaac Hadjar.
As did I.
He just had his first points in Formula One. He's also been driving with a lot of confidence. He's been quick and been leading that team, really, especially since Yuki moved up to Red Bull. But yeah, I think he's gonna go back-to-back points.
There you go. I went with Mr. Tripod, Pierre Gasly.
You can't. Oh my goodness.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, we found our clip for the week, everybody. comment, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, at Low Downforce Pod.
Is that because he
Low
only
Downforce
drives
on
with 3
YouTube.
wheels on his car?
Yes, that is
Yep.
because he drives with 3 wheels. I think that Gasly just is due for something bigger, and I would have Hadjar, but I think he's going to do better than that. I'll get into that in a second.
That's what I was gonna say. No, I actually have Sainz at 10. I think he is going to do well in the Williams, not as well as Albon. I do think he's going to get there in the points just for that 1 point, but I don't think he has it in him to get better than that. So I'm going to give it to Sainz.
I originally wanted to put Sainz P10, but I felt if I had the confidence to go Albon P3, then I had to put Carlos higher than that. So
Unless you hated Sainz, and then
no, I love Carlos.
you could do that.
Williams,
I love Carlos
has
too. That doesn't
been.
mean
No, I
he's
love
good
Carlos,
right
just
now.
like maybe not how he's driving this season in a Williams.
He's still learning. I think that was actually the benefit for him doing so poorly in Japan is they got to throw him on the soft tires and let him like find his groove and learn some things. But I stand by it. Carlos hasn't really performed yet, and Williams is still the top midfield team. They're cooking.
So, Ben, if you have Albon P3, you think Sainz is going to finish higher than P10, and you don't have Lando Norris or Max Verstappen on your podium, your hot take's got to be crazy.
We are going into the spicy hot takes, and you are so spot on, Josh. I'm not going to risk it all and involve both Lando and Max, but I will say that somebody who qualifies in the top 3 or is running in the top 3 in the race will not finish the race. And so I think that I don't know if it's both Lando and Max. I don't know if it's because they hit each other or whatever, but I've got Lando in my poll. The thinking behind this hot take is he is not finishing this race, that there is going to be a little bit of carnage. We've not gotten too much carnage this year. We've gotten some single car crashes, some single car errors.
A collision between teammates of Ferraris that I didn't get points for.
Oh, a little gentle little front wing end plate break. But no, I think something is catastrophic is going to happen at the front of the grid, and that one of the top 3 runners in qualifying or during the race is not going to finish.
Interesting. You're going full J9 from last year, just full carnage. Like somebody doesn't have to finish. Somebody's going to like flip and do like 3 barrel rolls over the wall.
No, I was never unsafe with my predictions. Thank you very much. I'm Miss Safety here.
And it was all targeted.
It was just hating.
Hey,
and judgment. That's different.
My hot take could be mechanical issue. We're not ill-willing anybody.
Last year, you'd be like, there's gonna be 7 DNFs.
That means someone is unsafe, and I would never say that. I don't like Perez though, but like it's fine.
I think J9 called for like 4 or 5 different like career retirements some point during the season last year.
With the what's his face from
Logan
the
Sargent.
US? Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah, fair enough. I've gone a little bit more positive this time, and yeah, I don't think I can be as bold as to say full McLaren dominance. Like that was very, very off for this past week. But I do think that Hadjar, if he does not finish above Kimi, is going to go at least top 6. So that's my hot take, is that Hadjar goes either top 6 and or finishes above Kimi. And the reason I think that that's hot is that Hadjar did have a good race this past week. However, there's 2 of us in the pod that have him at P10, right? And at the same time, there's nobody, in my opinion, that until now, as a rookie, has held a candle to Kimi. I mean,
I think Matt, I think you're stuck in last year where we were all challenging your hot takes, but I'm going to go, this is full spicy. Hadjar has not qualified or finished top 6, and like you said, Kimi Antonelli has been the top finisher of the rookies every race so far this year.
He could, I said, and or.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think both of them.
If
Both of them
Hadjar
top.
goes like 8th, like Kimi 9th. Like that could.
If
that could
Kimi
still...
DNFs and Hadjar gets last place,
It counts.
It does count.
we'll count it.
Not like your collision one.
How about
this one would count.
Does it help? Does it help to be a bit spicier if I say that Kimi does? Like, Yeah, you can totally nullify mine if Kimi doesn't finish.
Matt, you're just digging yourself a hole. I
Yeah,
think
you're
it's
digging
hot
yourself a
enough
hole. We'll
already.
debate it.
Fine. No,
We'll
you're
see
right.
what
You're
happens
right.
in the debate.
Hajar P19, Kimi P20. That counts.
I have also gone for a top 6, but I've gone for Yuki Tsunoda to finish in the top 6. His second week in the Red Bull car, I think he's going to get a little more familiar with it at a track that, with testing, he obviously didn't test this car at the track, but I think Red Bull will probably be able to set the car up pretty well relative to a track they hadn't driven at with this car. So I think Yuki in the top 6.
I mean, that's the best point. Even with all the rookies, nobody has an excuse that they don't know this track because of preseason testing. Everybody should come in with confidence, which should mean better racing, faster laps, that sort of thing.
And in J9 fashion, Liam Lawson.
Oh, you
He
just
gets
talked about
last.
being positive.
Liam Lawson
last.
loses. He gets last. And we all sit here in the recap and say, will he stay at RB? Who knows? I guess we'll have to find out. But I think he gets last. Now, I'm saying last, but he's still finishing the race. He will not DNF, but he will get last, which I think is worse.
I thought you were
last of the finishers, though. Like if somebody else DNFs, is he going to be
the finishers? I'd
Last
count
of the
that.
Okay.
finishers. I don't think he will DNF. I think he will just get straight up last, and he will be like whatever the other guy's name was from the U.S. So I always forget because
Logan
it sounds
Sargent.
so much like
I thought you were
One
going
of
to
the-
say
sounds
that.
so much like Lance Stroll, but it's going to be like Logan Sargent and my
Same
favorite
initials.
/ worst and least favorite Perez.
I
I
thought
think
you
he's
were
going
gonna
to
say
do
he's
real
gonna,
shitty this week.
I thought you were going to say he's going to deported from Bahrain or something.
Jeez.
That one sounds like a lot, and I'm not
Lawson-
about that life. I just think he'll
Lawson
get
in
last.
last is going to be really tough, especially if
Lawson
Hajar, his
last.
teammate, goes in the top 6, and Yuki
Exactly.
Tsunoda, his former teammate, goes
That's
in the
why
top
it's
6.
spicy, Josh.
I
No,
thought
I know it's going
I
to look
thought
really bad for him.
J9 was waving a pen around. I thought it was a dagger for a second, but the only cutting
No,
is the
it's
words
just a
out of her
pen.
mouth. She is slicing and dicing with her hot take. I think it's funny the way you said Liam Lawson loses. People always talk about, didn't win P10, P17, whatever. No, it's you're the biggest loser. They should do that little wooden trophy. You have to go up on the podium and just get absolutely doused in I don't know what's worse than champagne, slime. You get Nickelodeon slimed while everybody else is getting champagne.
Fireball,
sprayed
and then
everywhere.
it gets into your eyes and it stings.
Ooh,
That
you might
sounds
be
horrible.
onto something.
I know.
No.
The Low Downforce Racing Series, where last place gets to go on the podium as well. But we will certainly find out if that will be Liam Lawson, if that will be Lando Norris, or if it will be somebody entirely different. You will just have to tune in to see. And like I said earlier, great news. American East Coast watchers, and really all of American watchers, we have a normal timed race. We have qualifying at noon on Saturday. Wow, who could have thought it? And then we have the Grand Prix itself on ESPN on Sunday at 11 a.m. So even if you're in California, that's still 8 a.m. That is still a reasonable time and not 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, midnight. So rejoice. The racing is getting closer and closer to our hemisphere of the world, which means better viewing time. So be sure to check out this race. As we mentioned, there's still a lot that can go on. Our predictions are all over the place. And then, of course, be sure to tune in with us after the race for the full Grand Prix review. See if what we actually predicted came true and what other storylines came about during the weekend. So we will catch up with you then. Until then, stay speedy, everybody. Goodbye.